Hello everyone and welcome back to another motovlog from TH. It is me, TH, from THMOTO. And we're gonna go to today. So, you may notice there's some water on the ground. For whatever reason, yesterday, well actually no the reason, I did not film yesterday on my way to work because last night I was going to go to dinner, or I went to dinner with a friend and I was going to record that ride. So I was like, I don't need multiple videos in one day. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm not going to have anything in the bank for the following day. But look at this. This is ridiculous. All this stuff in the street. Anyways, yeah, so I'm not going to have anything in the bank for the following day, but that's not a big deal. I'll just record the following day. So, moral of the story is, if you are going to motovlog, just record all the time and then use whatever you want, delete whatever you don't want, or just post everything, whatever the case may be, because my God. So basically what I'm getting at is, yesterday morning I did not check the forecast because, as I mentioned in a couple of videos prior, there was a fire. Was a fire? I don't know if it's out yet or not. I don't pay attention to the news. I just know there was a fire. And it was causing a lot of smoke and a lot of overcast weather. So it looked exactly like it did the previous 2 days yesterday morning, and it hadn't rained the previous 2 days. So I'm like, oh, it just looks this way because of the fire. It's not going to rain. It rained. It definitely rained on my way to work, while I was on my motorcycle, and I didn't think it was the rain at first. I noticed some sprinklers were on, like on the right side of the road, and I was just like, oh, those were just some crazy sprinklers that just sprayed me while I was riding. That's insane. And then I got well past the sprinklers and I was in a roundabout and I was like, oh, that's rain. And I wasn't scared until I realized I wasn't scared. You know, like everybody says, the worst time to be riding is in the rain is when it first starts raining, because that's when the road is the slickest and like car tires haven't carved out a dry path for us yet. Like that's the slickest time to be on the road, and I can verify from having spent a lot of time in a car that is the time that you're most likely to like spin out or something. Like, there's just so much oil and dirt and debris and stuff on the road surface. So I was just like, all right, this is scary. I should be scared. What the hell? I'm not scared. Not scared. This is weird. And I got scared that I wasn't scared because so yesterday was August 1st, and there's a family tradition in my house that we listen to a particular song on August 1st. We'll get into that a different time. But I was just singing the song and bopping along, and then I just got terrified. I started singing the song a little bit louder, and then at the point that I was like screaming it, I was like, okay, this isn't okay, I'm not okay. And I realized right in the midpoint, I was right in the middle of my ride to where it didn't make sense to turn around and go home, and it was still really far to get to work. Well, far enough for someone who had never ridden in the rain before. Anyway, so I was like, you know what? We're just going to power through, and we're going to hope that it stops raining later today for a ride home. And it did, luckily. But it was very intense. I definitely locked up the back wheel a couple of times. Thank goodness for ABS. It definitely helped. And I don't even remember what I did. I remember that, like, when I was thinking about what I did to save the skid and like stay upright, I was like, oh, that was actually pretty good. That truck is just dumping water on the ground. That's cool. I was actually really proud of myself, and it would have been a great video and absolutely terrifying as well, but here we are. It did rain last night as well, So that's why I didn't end up filming. As soon as I got home, we were supposed to meet at 6:30 across town, and it said heavy rain starting at 6 o'clock, and that's right when I needed to leave. So I was like, you know what, we're not doing this twice in one day. If I can consciously avoid it, I'm going to do that. So I did. I did not choose to rain. I drove my shiny metal coffin, my cage, to dinner. Went to a place here in Vegas called the Uncommons Mall, and went to a restaurant called the Sundry. It was really, really cool. It was actually, it's like a food hall style, like a mess hall, slop hall, whatever you call it. There's like 8 different restaurants. It's like a food court basically, except on the menu you can order from any of the 8 restaurants, and one kitchen makes it and brings it to you. So it's actually really cool because you can get all these different types of food. Like, we got hummus and lumpia for an appetizer, and then she had a crab cake slider, and I had a hot chicken sandwich. And then we ordered mocktails. So it's a really, really concept. There's not a lot of seating for how big it is, but it was, we got a table right away, so that wasn't a concern for us. But yeah, they have all of that, and then they also have 2 individual restaurants that are like right in the same area, so you have access to an absolute ton of food right there all in one place. It's a really cool idea, and we liked it a lot. Good too. Always nice. And then afterwards we went to a place called Salt and Straw, which was hands down, like, not even close to the best ice cream I've ever had. Before, it was a close race for the number 1 spot for Sorry Not Sorry and Handle. And like, for nostalgia purposes, I'll include the first time I ever had Cold Stone, because that was a very memorable experience. I was in high school and I had never had anything like it before. So, like, how I hold the first time I went to Cold Stone up in my head versus Handles and Sorry Not Sorry, but this easily jumped all 3 of them. First of all, don't get a double. The scoops are the size of your head. They're like pint-sized scoops. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I looked at the pint container, and it was as big as the scoop of ice cream that I had. So I got a double. So I basically had 2 pints of ice cream last night after eating a full meal. Luckily, I wasn't like super full after dinner, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was a lot of ice cream. But they have seasonal flavors. I got one of them. It was like caramel banana bread with strawberry jam, which sounds weird and something I'd probably never eat, like if it wasn't ice cream, but it was perfect. It was amazing and refreshing. And then cinnamon snickerdoodle. And she got chocolate brownie something and salted malted chocolate chip cookie dough. So basically like the dough of a chocolate chip cookie that has salt on it. It's all good chocolate chip cookies should have salt on them. And then it was also malted like the inside of a Whopper or an old malted shake. It was really freaking good. There's a bunch of stuff there that we tried though that you just can't eat it all. You want to get a pint of everything, but this did. And I'll go back with my wife, get a couple of different things. So that was my night last night. I did, in fact, rain very, very hard there, so I'm glad I didn't take the bike. That's unnecessary scariness. I don't even care about getting wet. Like, I don't have good rain gear. I don't care about that. It was just the fear. And, like, when I was driving in my car on the freeway, the wind blew so hard that I went sideways. So, for sure, would not have been a good time on the bike. And drove home and saw a bunch of stuff in the road. So apparently the like major street next to my house, where the Taco Bell is, just gets washed out during the rain. Like, there was so much debris. Like, when I turned onto Hill Center this morning, you saw the video that, like, basically half of a palm tree was in the middle of the street. And that was the case for Lake Mead as well. It was just completely washed out. And it makes sense, it's all downhill. So the 215 where I get off is the high point, and then it's just downhill, downhill, downhill until, for quite a while actually. Las Vegas is a valley, so everything slopes towards the center of the city for the most part. That was crazy. I would have been dodging all the obstacles if I was on my motorcycle, that's for sure, because there's just so much big debris and rocks and tree carcasses and stuff on the street. Far from an R1, but still a lot of fun, especially when I've been going exactly slower than the speed limit, or exactly the speed limit all morning because of the slipperiness. I finally found a nice, well-traveled road that was dry. You could open it up just a little bit. That was still only like, that was 70 in fourth gear, but I was only revving to like 6 grand and like 60-70% throttle on every gear. So pretty fun acceleration. I'm pretty used to that now, though. I do want to wait until 1,000 miles to truly take it to, well, I don't want to take it to Redline. First of all, there's no point. Too fast, but also this bike loses power. It Redline's at 10 grand, but it loses power after 9. And it's not a sport bike. Like, I want to stay where it's nice and torquey in the middle, but it will give me the flexibility to stay between like 4 and 7, 4 and 8, something like that, where I can't really go up to 8 now, or at least I shouldn't. I know there's a lot of Yamaha technicians on the internet that say, like, you don't need to do that, but I am not one of them, and I'm not as good at fixing bikes as they are. So if something goes wrong and Yamaha for whatever reason doesn't honor my warranty, I would be up a creek without a paddle. So we're not going to do that. By the way, the weather this morning, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Las Vegas or live in Las Vegas, but the day after it rains in Vegas is always absolutely gorgeous. The high today is like 93, but when I got on my bike to ride this morning, it was 75 degrees. With the wind chill, I'm sub 70, and it feels so nice. My first experience riding in this weather in Vegas, because, like I said, I got my bike the worst time to start riding, the beginning of July. Just went wide there because I was looking at the bus and forgot to brake because it looked like the bus was not going to slow down. I was like, but controlled it. Thought I could just engine brake down to a safe turning speed, but alas, 'twas not the case. Alright, well, here we are again at downtown Summerlin at the mall. That was an amazing ride. It was, well, because of, I know the road is a little slick and like wet because it rained in the middle of the night a lot. I looked at the forecast and it was supposed to rain for like 2-ish hours in the middle of the night, and it looks like it did. So a little stressful in that way, but mostly good. Just stayed going the speed limit until it was safe to open her up a little bit. And now we are here. everyone. Y'all stay safe. Have a great day. If you have a motorcycle, get out there and ride. Talk to you next time. Peace.